Why is it that the mind clings to the teacher in preference to the teaching? Jesus, we could say, an astounding teacher. Jesus was not pointing to the form itself, the form of himself. He was always pointing to the teaching. So the name Jesus, Yeshua, Christ, we feel not worthy until we announce the name Jesus, Yeshua, Christ, the Spirit, the Son of God, before we can look at the teaching. Any religious establishment will remind you about the teacher and then possibly go into some of the teachings, not the true teachings like St. Thomas. Where Christ was not surrounded by so many what you would call variety of minds that interprets differently, where St. Thomas just wrote it down as it was spoken. So the St. Thomas book, the Bible, is the teachings, but the people who are announced or named, they're not really requiring to be known. So why do we not take the words, the teaching, and practice the teaching, and not worship the teacher? The teacher has done his job, past. Whether it's still here in consciousness, whether it's still here in spirit, if you want to look for that teacher, where is that teacher? The teacher within. But you don't have to give it a name. You don't have to call it Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Christ, Ramana, Ram, Muhammad. You don't have to call them names. Anandamaya Ma is within me. No. The teaching of Anandamaya Ma is within. It is also out with if you want to read the words in specific books and paraphrases and parables and pass down information. It's a longer way to teach, I'm going to read about that guy with the beard. I can't say his name because I'm not worshipping it. I'm worshipping the words, the actuality of how to go about, to practice, to become a true spirit or a true representation of the human species, the being. Why is it that we need some form, some idol, before we can begin the process? How many people have sat under bonsai trees to practice like Buddha, thinking this is the way to do it, you see? Under the tree, there's a great way to do it. But when you imagine it's a particular tree gained from a particular form, you're already trying to copy, to replicate the teacher's way, not the way that the teacher is pointing to. The teacher's not pointing at itself, it's pointing at the place. Look, it's over there. Don't come to me, it's over there. So why is it we're not worthy? Because from the very moment we're born as human beings, with no mind, with very little mind, enough mind for the brain to keep the body operating, enough mind to create a smile. You don't know what the baby's smiling at. To create a cry, to create hunger. We're not worthy because we're told we're not worthy. Everyone is told they're not worthy. Not intentionally. Because we feel as human beings, our children has to follow the same process. And that's okay. You're going to have to in this world, driven by ego. You're going to have to give your child a name and tell it it's going to have to do specific things in the world if you're going to just be accepted by the world or fit into the world. But the first, I mean, I've seen it. I've probably practiced it, unaware. When a child is born, beautiful, perfect, the most astounding experience, the most precious, beautiful, perfect, immaculate in front of you, this child. It is the ultimate, they call it the ultimate moment, to see the child's eye open. And you see this pure, innocent, conscious, loving, unconditional form. And we keep telling it how beautiful it is. And we keep telling it how incredibly, and the connection is immensely pure. For those that know about giving birth to a child, father or mother, they don't have to be told they're going to go to a counselling session and say, the counsellor say, this is the way you have to love your child. You have to connect to your child. You have to be this. Some have difficulty. Some have definite difficulties in understanding what's taking place and the trauma of especially the mother. But you don't have to be told how perfect this moment is. And then we have to make our child unworthy when it becomes 2 or 3. Why can't you be good? When a child is crying, the mother thinks it can't hear, it can't understand. I just want you to stop crying. I just want you to be a good little boy, a good little girl. I want you to do these things for mommy and daddy, and there you'll get, then everyone will see you as good. Now you have to practice to be good. When did you stop being good? When did you stop being perfect? When did you stop this life? Because we have to train them. You see, that's the idea. We have to train them, otherwise they will be, completely different in this world. And of course we have to, because like we say, we're all copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. And those that do try and, continue with this worthiness to the child, you can't contain it in a house. So the teachers and the other children are saying, why do you think you're so good? Why do you think you're so good? We've all got to earn our goodness. Why are you always good? And then there's conflict, you see. So it's a complex situation to be parents, but it's much more complex to be the child. So we make the best, you see. So we have to go through it with making the best. We have to tell the child when it's necessary that it has to do things differently, against the grain of what it wants to do, or how it feels, or whatever. To compute, to program your mind into this way. And there's nothing wrong. This is the way the humans have created a process, a rules and regulations, a biblical passage says 10 commandments. This is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1 to 10. This is how your child has to be. This is how the adult has to be. This is how everybody has to be as good as Jesus. The teacher is life. In our human way, we use the process, we use the conditioned way to maintain some sort of quality of life, and it's okay. If it's okay, it's okay. If it's not, it's not. That's the way it is. That's the gamble, you see. That's the divisive mind. You're either good or you're bad. You're good, you may get some rewards. If you're bad, you're going to suffer the consequences of our ways, our practices, our process. Now, the speaker's not here to condemn. We're not here to condemn our ways. It's impractical to do otherwise. Impractical in a world of cultured, religious dogma. This is how we do it in our culture, in our country. This is the way we do it. This is how we treat our children. This is how we bring them up. And we can, if we're lucky, get through it in a contented way. So in a human way, this is it. You see, this is it. Whatever it is, it is. We have to do the best we can with our mind, the best we can with our body, and the best we can with our children and our friends and our neighbours, and that's what we do. And all in all, it's probably for most quite a decent kind of existence. So, but the difference is when you start seeking for something other than human, your being side. Because we do lean, the ego mind does lean for the names, the stories, the words, the identities, the news, the what's going on in the outside world is much more important than what's going on in the inside world. So let's look for good teachers in the outside world for when we want to awaken or become enlightened or become a purely religious or spiritual or even science-based individual. But you can't use the practicalities of the human side to find God, to find enlightenment, to find awakening. Because the teachers are not pointing at themselves, but you're looking for them. What's the best teacher in non-duality? What's the best teacher in this? What's the best teacher in that? That's fine. When you find a teacher, you don't start worshipping. You don't start agreeing, copying and pasting. You take the words, you take what the teaching is about. Is this teaching connecting with me? And the absolute speedy connection is not with an external teacher. It's not with this. If you think this is a teacher, which it's not, teacher too is within. The teacher is within. You see, but unfortunately, the ego dominates the brain, dominates the head. So when we say the teacher is within, the teacher's within, or we say it's here, knowing that all the information that I have, all the teaching that's coming from is from up here, because that's where the dominant mind is. And if you're looking for something spiritual and religious and true, and dominance is not what it is, you see. Jesus was not a dominant force. He was crucified. You could say God is not a dominant force if you believe in Satan. Satan's always overpowering, especially if you look at the external world in a very negative way. It's not about dominance. It's not about this teacher is dominant, that teacher is dominant. It's not practical, even in a human world. We hate dominance, we hate authoritarians if they're taking away things from people who are from other humans that are like starvation in the world today. It's a kind of dominance. No one in the world is willing to say, okay, take half my wages, especially, and give them to these people, because they know it's corrupt. You know, the whole thing is corrupt. The governments in other countries, they don't see it as dominance. They see it as, this is the way. This is how it is. They're poor. They're peasants. They have to suffer. That's unfortunate. That's a human way. You see, that's when we make up good and bad. We see starvation as bad. It truly is bad. I mean, how can another human being watch another human being starve to death? I mean, is that what the ego world, is that what we want our children to experience? Our children is different from their children. It makes a difference when we actually experience it, you see. Which brings me to the mind, you see. It's a mind that values, measures. We say it's us, it's me. I am the measurer. I am the valuer. I am the analyst. I am the judge. I am the comparer. I am the preference between good and bad. That's the mind. I am is not the mind. You see, who witnesses the mind? Do you know how you have a mind? Do you know you have a mind? Say to yourself, I have a mind. Who is the I that has a mind? The mind has trained the I that has a mind into being another example of mind. So all of it is mind. So if it's all mind, it's all secondary. So the idea to seek and search is not to get away from this world, this human ways, this egoistic, imbalanced world. The idea is to free the mind, or be free of the mind. We can't be free as the mind, because the mind cannot be free in a good and bad world. But let's look at it from the observer, from the witness. I have a mind. Okay? So the I that has a mind is that mind. Is the I that has a mind, mind. We're not looking at body. Body is just a vessel. We're not looking at brain. Brain just operates the vessel. Scans the vessel. Makes sure everything's working. Whereas that's the secondary brain. The primary brain is here. Umbilical cord. First connection with life from mother. Umbilical cord. The brain was born much later. Created much later. Initial brain is in the hara. We can call it the stomach. The sacral. I have a mind. So the I witnesses it and a mind. It doesn't see a form, it sees, yes, mind. Something is operating within me that I see, and it appears to be the operator. But what about I? Now, let's finish it. Let's finish it off now. Who witnesses I? Same sentence. I have a mind. I witnesses the mind. Who witnesses I witnessing it's having a mind? There's a witness witnessing all of this taking place. There's a witness. I'm witnessing the picture on the wall. Okay? The picture on the wall is not me. Yeah? So I am witnessing it. Whatever I am is witnessing it. But I'm seeing myself witnessing the picture on the wall. You see, primary. Human, we have to live. We have to live bringing our children up the way everyone else brings their children up. There's no doubt about it. That's the way it is. And that's okay if you want to continue with this human life as an ego, story, name, beginning, middle, end, part. Fine. There's no problem. Absolutely no problem with that. Teacher will never point you to say, you need to change your life. You need to do something about your life. A true teacher will say, everything's okay until you question it. And when you question it, don't look for a teacher. Question yourself. Do I have the mind? Am I the mind? Or is there something within me that knows this mind is causing trouble for my life or enhancing my life? Who is the observer of I, witnessing the world? You won't get any answers up here. In fact, you won't get any answers in here. But you'll connect to the teacher. You can call it Christ then. You can call it Buddha. But you have to find the teacher through the teaching. Who am I? What am I? Can I be seen? The one that's looking for I, can it be seen? Can I be seen? If I cannot be seen, the one looking for I, it certainly cannot be seen. So what is it? Is it just an imagination? Is it just a fantasy? Is it just another dehypnosis? Is it just another way for a speaker to keep you away from thinking about the traumas of life, the tragedies of life, the television set, the workplace? Is it just another form of meditation? Ask your teacher. Can I be seen? Where am I looking from? Where is I looking from? Not the body, not the mind, because we're looking at the mind. We're looking at everything that is named is mental, psychological, constructed, assumed data. Yeah? I'm not the mind. Where am I looking from? And as what am I looking from? As what am I looking as? You won't find these questions in books. It's your question. You won't find these questions in your head, in your brain. You won't find these questions answered in the past, and then unless you start looking for another teacher from the past and start looking at an adoration at this teacher, and they said, oh, they saw the same thing, so it's okay, I'll just go on with it. You all need confirmation, but the confirmation comes from the teacher within. You see, the idea of Christ in your head is just another fantastical weapon to keep you from practicing what Christ was teaching. Yes, Christ is the Son of God. Yes, Buddha is the most balanced nature. Yes, Krishna is so emphatically pure conscious being. Shiva, Ramana, Anandamaya, all these are, yes, they truly are great. But what are they teaching? Where is the teaching going? Is the teaching going to the head and then back out to them? Or is the teaching going into the head and down into the hara? And that reconnection from that first initial umbilical cord before the external umbilical cord was born was the reconnection of the initial umbilical cord. How did you get inside your mother, the mind? The sperm, the form, it was created through an egg and a sperm and the nutrients and the mother's care and compassion. But what about the one that is in the form? Is it just a mind? Is there only mind? Or is there a consciousness that is beyond mind? And am I that consciousness? Only your teacher will tell you. Only you will know there is only you alone in this planet when you're seeking. In a human way, yes, we can look around and we can say, yeah, we're all one species. In a mind-constructed psychological way, we assume that we are human, Homo sapiens. But we've created that word, we've made that up, we've given it some sort of clout, some sort of identity, some sort of power now. But if you're seeking a way out to the way in, yeah? A way out of this mental constructed thingy into the way in to the true teacher. And the true teaching doesn't teach, it confirms the teaching of the people of like Christ and Buddha, the words, through me I am, is the way. Under the stone, lift the stone up, you will find I there, find me there. Split the wood, I is there. Meaning? I don't know, you find out. But it's okay not to seek. It's okay not to look for awakening, enlightenment, and some sort of thing. You only look if you're suffering. You only look if this world is basically depressing and mentally consuming your energy levels, your body, your finances, your material wealth, or whatever it is. You only start looking when you become lost in the human world. By God, there's a lot of lost humans, I'll tell you. I was lost, but no, I was found. Who found I? I found myself. Who is myself? Who witnesses myself finding I? Who witnesses myself losing I? Even in death, there'll be a witness of what you imagined as your mental constructed mind leaving you. Bye-bye, Graham. But the witness, does the witness die? Does the witness remain? The matter's not in the human life. Forget this, forget the seeking, forget this nonsense. But if you're truly seeking, don't depend on teachers. Depend on the teachings. And the teachings will take you into I. The teacher is pointing at the place, not the best teacher, not the best practice, not the best method. You are the best practice, the best method. You are the best at discovering and recovering the true teacher that you always are. In all ways. I don't know.